Have you ever wondered why no matter how hard you try, you're either not saving enough or your money just disappears faster than you can earn it? I've been there too. I remember when I was starting out, I thought saving was all about cutting coffee and earning more meant working myself into the ground. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be that complicated. In this video, we're breaking down the beginner's blueprint to saving smarter and earning quicker. By the end, you'll have simple, actionable strategies to make your money work harder for you without needing to overhaul your entire lifestyle. Let's face it, most people think they know where their money goes, but when the month ends, they're left scratching their heads. They swear they didn't spend much, but their bank account tells a different story. The truth is, money doesn't disappear magically. It slips away in the form of small, unnoticed purchases. Think about a coffee here, a snack there, a subscription you forgot you signed up for. It's not that one single $5 charge is destroying your finances. It's the accumulation. And because it's invisible, you can't fix it. If you don't know where your money is going, you have zero control. That's why so many people live paycheck to paycheck. Not because they don't earn enough, but because they don't track their spending. The solution is simple but powerful. Track every dollar. And I don't mean in a vague, just be more mindful way. I mean literally know where every single cent is going. You can do this with pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or my personal favorite, a budgeting app. The method doesn't matter. What matters is building the habit of awareness. Once you write it down or log it, something happens. You actually see your spending patterns. Suddenly, you notice that you're not just buying the occasional 80 takeout, you're actually spending $200 a month on delivery. You realize that 3 quick Amazon purchases a week total over $300 monthly. And once you see the numbers in black and white, you can't unsee them. Another powerful trick is categorizing expenses. Break them down into needs, wants, and leaks. Needs are things you must pay: rent, utilities, groceries. Wants are lifestyle choices: dining out, entertainment, shopping. Leaks are the sneaky ones: fees, unused subscriptions, impulse buys. When you categorize, you start asking better questions. Do I really need to spend $300 on takeout when I could cook at home for half the cost? Is this a 15 subscription I haven't used in 3 months worth it? Awareness naturally leads to action. I'll give you a real example from my own journey. When I first started, I assumed I didn't spend much. I wasn't driving flashy cars or buying designer clothes. But when I tracked my spending for just 1 month, I had a wake-up call. I realized I was spending about $150 a month on food delivery. That's $800 a year. Money that could have been invested, saved, or used to build something bigger. And here's the kicker: I didn't even enjoy most of those meals. I was just lazy after a long day and defaulted to ordering out. Once I saw it written down, I made a simple adjustment. I limited delivery to weekends only and committed to cooking at home during the week. Suddenly, my delivery bill dropped from $150 to $50,000 a month, and I was saving for $200 a year. To put that into perspective, if you invested of $200 annually with an average 7% return, in 20 years, you'd have over $50 in. That's the power of tracking. What seems like just a few dollars can literally turn into tens of thousands over time. And that's why tracking every dollar matters. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about awareness. Once you know where your money is going, you get to decide if that's where you want it to go. And 9 times out of 10, you'll realize you'd rather keep that money for your future than let it leak away on things you didn't even care about. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to save money isn't because of the big purchases. They're usually aware of those. It's the small, recurring, and often invisible costs that quietly eat away at your bank account. These are what I call hidden costs. They're not obvious, and because they don't feel painful in the moment, you ignore them. A 10 subscription here, a 25 late fee there, a premium service upgrade you forgot you signed up for. It all adds up. The problem is that these costs don't just drain your money, they drain your opportunity. Every dollar that leaks away to hidden costs is a dollar you can't save, invest, or use to build financial momentum. And the craziest part, most people are paying for things they don't even use. Think about it. How many streaming services are you subscribed to right now? Do you really watch them all? Or how many times have you been hit with a late fee just because you forgot a due date? These costs don't just nibble at your wallet. They take huge bites when you look at the yearly total. And because they're small and recurring, you accept them as normal expenses. That's the trap. The solution is to do a complete expense audit and ruthlessly cut what doesn't serve you. Here's how. Step 1, go through your bank and credit card statements for the last 30 days. Write down every subscription, every recurring charge, every small payment you didn't actively decide on. You'll be shocked at what you find. Step 2, cancel, downgrade, or negotiate. If you're not actively using something, get rid of it. If you have a premium plan for a service you don't fully use, downgrade to the basic version. For bills like internet or phone service, call your provider and negotiate a better rate. Most people don't realize that companies often lower your rate if you just ask, because they'd rather keep you as a customer than lose you entirely. Step 3, eliminate avoidable fees. This means setting up autopay to avoid late charges, keeping a buffer in your checking account to avoid overdraft fees, and paying off your credit card in full to avoid interest. These aren't just fees, they're penalties for not paying attention. The point isn't to cut out everything in life like a monk. The point is to stop throwing away money on things that don't matter to you. Once you eliminate the leaks, you'll find that saving money doesn't feel nearly as difficult as you thought. Here's a real example. A few years ago, I looked at my recurring expenses and found I was paying for 4 different streaming services. But the truth, I was only really watching one of them, so I canceled the other 3. That alone saved me $40,000 a month, nearly $500 a year. And here's the crazy part, I didn't even miss them. Another time, I noticed I was paying $65 a month for my internet bill. I decided to call the provider. I told them I was considering switching to a competitor offering a lower rate. Within 10 minutes, they knocked my bill down to $40. That's $25 saved every single month, or $300 a year for literally one phone call. And the late fees, I used to get hit with them all the time in college because I'd forget due dates. Once I set up autopay, I eliminated them completely. That alone saved me hundreds a year and gave me peace of mind. When you add these savings up, it's not just about 10 here or 25 there. Over a year, it can be thousands. And if you invest that instead of wasting it, the long-term value is even greater. Imagine saving just $200 a month by cutting hidden costs. That's $200 to $400 a year. If you invested that annually at a 7% return, in 20 years, you'd have nearly 100,000. That's the power of cutting hidden costs, small changes, massive results. Most people treat saving money as an afterthought. They spend the entire month swiping cards, buying what they want. And then at the end of the month, they hope there's something left over to put aside. But here's the truth. There's never anything left. Because when saving is optional, it never happens. We naturally fill our lifestyle to match our income. Psychologists call it lifestyle creep. The moment you get a raise, you upgrade your phone, eat out more often, or move into a slightly nicer apartment. And the cycle continues. More income, more spending, no savings. The problem isn't that you don't earn enough to save. The problem is that you're saving last. And if you save last, you'll never save at all. That's why so many people, even those earning 6 figures, still live paycheck to paycheck. It's not about how much you make. It's about how you manage what you make. The solution is simple but life-changing: automate your savings. Instead of saving what's left over, you flip the script. You save first. The second your paycheck hits, a portion of it automatically moves into a separate savings or investment account. That way, you never even see it in your checking account. You're removing temptation before it even begins. This is called paying yourself first. Imagine you get paid $2,000. Instead of leaving it all in your checking account, you set up an automatic transfer of $200 to savings on payday. Now you're living on $1,800 instead of $2,000. But you don't feel like you're missing out because you adjusted before the money ever touched your hands. Over time, you train yourself to live comfortably on less while your savings quietly grow in the background. Automation also solves the problem of discipline. Let's be real. No one is motivated every day. Some months you'll feel like saving, but other months you won't. By automating it, you remove the choice entirely. The money moves without effort, without emotion, and without delay. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can set up automatic transfers with your bank, use a budgeting app that rounds up your purchases and saves the difference, or enroll in your employer's retirement plan where contributions are taken out before you even get paid. The point is, don't rely on willpower. Rely on systems. Example, here's a personal example. Early on, I wanted to build an emergency fund but never got around to it. Every month, I told myself, I'll save what's left. But there was never anything left. So I set up a simple rule. On payday, $100 would automatically transfer into my savings account. That's it. No thinking, no excuses. At first, I barely noticed it. My checking account was a little smaller, but I adjusted. After a year, that one small action built me a $1,200 emergency fund without ever feeling like I had to sacrifice. That emergency fund later saved me when I had a car repair out of nowhere. Instead of stressing or putting it on a credit card, I just used the money I had already set aside. Here's the crazy part. Once I saw how painless it was, I increased the transfer to $200, then $300. And before I knew it, saving had become effortless. I wasn't relying on motivation or discipline. It was just happening. Let's do the math. If you automate just $200 a month into savings or investments, that's $2,400 a year. Invest that consistently at an average 7% return, and in 20 years, you'll have nearly $100,000. Do it for 30 years, and you're looking at over $230,000. And that's from a decision you made once and never touched again. That's why automation is so powerful. It makes saving the default, not the exception. You don't think about it, you don't argue with yourself about it, you just build wealth on autopilot. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you're relying only on one income source, your main job or allowance, you're putting yourself in a financial trap. Why? Because expenses never stop, inflation keeps creeping up, and one paycheck rarely covers everything you want to accomplish. Even worse, if something unexpected happens, like losing your job or a medical emergency, you have no backup. That's when people spiral into debt, swipe credit cards, and end up paying high interest rates just to survive. Another problem is that most people believe they need a huge business idea or thousands of dollars in capital to start earning more. They wait for the perfect opportunity or a big break. But in the meantime, months and years go by and nothing changes. They underestimate the power of small, consistent extra income. Even an additional 200, 500 a month can completely shift your financial stability. That's not just extra spending money, it's your emergency fund, your first investment, or your fast track to paying off debt. The solution is to start small side hustles, simple, flexible, and scalable ways to earn extra income alongside your main job or studies. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to find something that matches your skills, your schedule, and your resources. Side hustles come in many forms. Freelancing, if you can write, design, edit videos, or manage social media, platforms like Fiverr or Upwork let you earn money from your skills. Tutoring or coaching, if you're good at math, languages, or fitness, there's always someone willing to pay for your help. Selling online, from flipping items on eBay or Facebook Marketplace to selling handmade crafts on Etsy, you can turn unused stuff or hobbies into cash. Gig work, driving for Uber, delivering food, or doing small tasks through TaskRabbit or local apps is a quick way to earn flexible cash. Content creation, building a YouTube channel, TikTok account, or blog takes time, but even small audiences can generate ad revenue or sponsorships down the line. The goal isn't to immediately replace your full-time income, it's to create a secondary stream of cash flow. Over time, that income can scale. The beauty of side hustles is that they don't require you to quit your job or take huge risks. They're stepping stones, not leaps. Let me give you a personal example. When I first got into real estate, I didn't have much money and I needed a way to boost my income. So I started doing real estate photography on the side. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid well. I'd take pictures of properties for other agents, and that extra income gave me the freedom to invest in my own business faster. What started as just a few $100s a month eventually scaled into a much bigger opportunity. I know someone else who started flipping furniture. They'd buy used chairs and tables for cheap, clean them up, maybe give them a new coat of paint and sell them online. What began as a weekend hobby turned into 500, 800 extra income every month. That's $60,000 to $10,000 a year from something they actually enjoyed doing in their spare time. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you start a side hustle that brings in just $300s a month. That's $3,600 a year. If you use that money solely to invest at an average 7% return, in 20 years, you'd have about $150. If you used it to pay off high-interest debt, you'd save thousands in interest payments. Or if you used it to cover emergencies, you'd never have to swipe a credit card in desperation again. The key is starting small. Don't wait for the perfect idea. Don't convince yourself you need to be an expert. Just pick something simple, commit to it, and let it grow. Every dollar you earn outside your main job is another layer of financial security. And sometimes that side hustle can even become your full-time gig if you stick with it long enough. That's the power of side hustles. They give you options, they give you flexibility, and most importantly, they give you control. Most people avoid managing their money because it feels overwhelming. They think budgeting requires hours of spreadsheets, tracking every receipt, and constantly stressing over numbers. So instead, they take the head in the sand approach. They just swipe, spend, and hope it all balances out at the end of the month. Spoiler alert, it never does. The problem isn't just laziness, it's friction. When something feels complicated or time-consuming, we naturally avoid it. That's why most people don't check their bank statements, don't monitor their credit, and don't actively look for ways to optimize their spending. The result: overdraft fees, missed payments, low credit scores, and wasted opportunities to save. And here's the kicker: we live in a world where managing money has never been easier. There are literally thousands of free apps and tools that automate the heavy lifting, but most people don't use them. Why? Because they don't realize how powerful they are, or they think financial tools are only for serious investors. The truth is, anyone, whether you're a broke student or making six figures, can benefit from using the right free resources. The solution is simple: leverage free tools that make money management effortless. Instead of forcing yourself to rely on discipline, use systems that do the work for you. Here are a few categories of free tools anyone can start with: budgeting apps. Apps like Mint or Every Dollar automatically link to your bank account, categorize your spending, and show you exactly where your money is going. No math required. You open the app, and instantly you see your monthly breakdown. Cashback and rewards apps Rakuten, Honey, or even credit card reward programs give you free money back on purchases you are already making. It's like getting a discount without asking. Bill negotiation tools. Services like Truebill, Now, Rocket Money, or Trim analyze your subscriptions and recurring charges. They'll even cancel unused services for you or negotiate bills on your behalf. Imagine saving money without lifting a finger. Investment platforms, apps like Robinhood or Fidelity let you start investing with no commissions. You don't need thousands of dollars. Sometimes you can begin with just $5. Credit monitoring tools, websites like Credit Karma let you track your credit score for free. Why does that matter? Because knowing your score helps you qualify for lower interest rates, which can save you thousands. The point is, don't try to do everything manually. Automate, delegate, and use the free resources already available. If you're not taking advantage of these, you're leaving money on the table. I'll give you a personal example. A while ago, I downloaded a cashback browser extension that automatically applied coupon codes and rebates whenever I shopped online. I didn't change my habits at all. I just kept shopping the way I normally did. By the end of the year, I had saved over 200. That's money I didn't even notice I was earning until I saw the balance in my account. Another time, I used a free bill negotiation app. It scanned my subscriptions and reminded me that I was still paying for a streaming service I hadn't touched in months. It canceled the subscription for me and saved me $12 a month. That's $144 a year for literally 30 seconds of effort. And here's one more. I set up a free credit monitoring tool which alerted me when my score improved. Because of that, I refinanced a loan and cut my interest rate. That single change saved me over $1,000 in interest payments over time. When you combine these little wins, they start to snowball. Saving 200 here, 144 there, 1,000 on interest, it adds up. And the best part is it requires almost no extra effort. You don't need to become a financial expert. You just need to set up the tools once and let them do the work in the background. Imagine if every month you saved an extra 100 just from using free tools. That's 200 a year. If you invested that at 7% over 20 years, you'd have about $50,000, all because you took advantage of resources that most people ignore. That's the beauty of leveraging free tools. They eliminate excuses. You don't need money to save money. You don't need experience to start investing. You don't need hours of work to create a budget. All you need to do is set them up once, and they'll help you manage, save, and grow your money automatically. Here's what most people tell themselves when it comes to money. I'll start saving when I make more. Or I'll invest once I have extra cash. Or my personal favorite, it's not the right time right now. The problem with that mindset is simple. There will never be a perfect time. Life is always busy, expenses always come up, and you'll always find a reason to delay. That's why so many people go through their 20s, 30s, even 40s, and still live paycheck to paycheck. They keep waiting until they earn more. But when they do earn more, they just upgrade their lifestyle and continue saving nothing. That cycle repeats for decades. The excuse isn't lack of money, it's lack of habit. Another problem is that people think financial progress has to be dramatic. They believe they need to save $100,000 a month, or invest thousands at once, or cut out every single fun expense. And because those goals feel impossible, they don't even start. But here's the truth. Financial success isn't built on one giant action. It's built on small, repeated habits. The solution is to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start building habits today, no matter how small. The amount doesn't matter, the habit does. If all you can save is $5 a day, do it. If you can only invest $20 a week, that's fine. The key is showing up consistently. Over time, habits compound. What feels small today will feel automatic tomorrow, and eventually it becomes part of your identity. Think of it like going to the gym. If you try to lift 200 pounds on your first day, you'll fail and quit. But if you start with 10 pounds and build the habit of showing up, you'll eventually get strong enough to lift 200 pounds without even thinking about it. Money works the same way. Start small, stay consistent, and the results compound. There are a few tricks to build money habits that stick. Make it automatic. Set up recurring transfers so you don't rely on willpower. Make it visible, track your progress so you see your savings or investments grow. It motivates you to continue. Make it rewarding, celebrate milestones like hitting your first 500 save to reinforce the behavior. And most importantly, shift your identity. Stop saying, I'm bad with money. Start saying, I'm someone who saves every month. Once you see yourself as the type of person who manages money well, your habits follow naturally. I'll give you an example from my own life. When I was just starting out, I thought saving was pointless because I couldn't save much. What difference does $5 or 10 a day make, right? But I forced myself to start small anyway. I set aside $5 daily, no excuses. That's $150 a month. At first, it felt insignificant, but after a year, I had 800 saved. That was the beginning of my emergency fund. That habit later scaled. Once I saw the progress, I increased it to then a day, then to 20 daily. Before I knew it, saving money wasn't a choice. It was just part of who I was. And that shift changed everything. I know another person who used this exact approach with investing. They committed to investing just to $25 a week into index funds. Over a year, that's $400 and $300. Doesn't sound like much, right? But after 5 years, they had over $700 in invested, and because of compounding, that money started making money on its own. All because of a habit that seemed too small to matter. Let's put the math into perspective. If you save $5 a day, that's $150 a month, and invested at a 7% return. After 30 years, you'll have over $180,000 from $5 a day. That's the power of habit. The people who succeed financially aren't the ones who make the biggest moves once in a while. They're the ones who build small habits and refuse to make excuses. If you start today, even at the smallest level, you're miles ahead of the person who keeps waiting for someday. Assess. So let's quickly wrap this up. First, we talked about tracking every dollar because you can't fix what you don't measure. Then we cut out hidden costs, those small leaks that drain your money without you noticing. From there, we moved into automating savings so you pay yourself first and build wealth on autopilot. We covered starting side hustles to boost your income without waiting for the perfect opportunity. Then we looked at how to leverage free tools so your money practically manages itself. And finally, we tied it all together with the most important part, building habits, not excuses. because small, consistent actions beat waiting for the perfect moment every single time. Now, if you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below with one money habit you're going to start today. I rate every single one. And don't go anywhere, because in the next video, we're diving deeper into the biggest student money traps, things keeping you broke without you even realizing it, and how to finally break free. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one.